Ready?
Yep.
Yep.
Tell us when you're ready.
Darren.
All right. Open up Daviess County Council 2022 adoption budget. First thing, we'll do the pledge as we do on every meeting. Pledge allegiance.
The flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Couple things before we get started. We're a little bit later because a little computer glitch here they're working on. If we're looking as we start, the adopted budget was $37,516,000. Last year's $33,248,000. But keep in mind that 27 pays versus 26 pays, so we'll have to keep that on the labor side. If we're looking through the iPad, looking through our program, we'll start with Superior Court. We'll go down line item by line item. Obviously, the Social Security Group Health, PERF, those things are calculated after any adjustments are made. So, start right down there on line item. On line item 16,000. Anybody?
On your Superior Court, is that right?
Superior Court?
Superior Court, okay.
No adjustments to that?
What line you
Go
on?
line by line.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to start at the top and
Well, we,
just clear the bonus.
yep. As far as the bonus, that's what we had approved for a person. See that number at $7,000. Social Security, Group Health, PERF, that's figured after you do your labor number. Training, bailiff. Oh, say that. Even though the numbers. Okay. Okay. Line on is a bonus at $7,000. 7 employees, additions, corrections. Social Security is stated $31,998. Group Health at $135,195. PERF $46,847. Those will calculate differently if we change projections, so we'll obviously leave that for now. Bailiff, the request is $3,250. The most that's ever been used in the last 3 years is $400 per year, $100 so far this year. Questions, comments, what that number should be?
It was suggested 1,500. I go with the 1,500.
Everybody good with 1,500?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Training education, projected 3,500. Each of the last 3 previous years, including this year, nothing has been used. Move that number to
1,000 is fine.
1,000's fine, 1,000 it is. Next line, 16000 with the judge. Asking an additional number above the 3%. Leave as is, or
That supplements, 5,000 is the max allowed.
What do we normally do? Is it normally the 3%, or how does it, is that what his is too?
Those are state-paid employees, so the judges are actually paid by the state.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This is a supplement from the county that is allowed, but the max is 5,000.
that we're allowed to do over and above what the state mandates.
In the past, we just did what the percentage was.
Like the 3,500 or whatever? I mean, you've been consistent there.
Yeah, normally we didn't do the full 5,000. In the past, we did the normal, whatever the percentage raise was.
And I think we need to do that again.
Yep, so then we'll leave that number as is.
What number?
What is it gonna be? Because they're asking for 5.
27th pay, it would be 3,936.
Okay.
We'll go with 3,936.
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
And Mike, you've been through this more than a lot of people up here put together, so.
Yeah, we never have done the full 5,000 they ask every year. We never have done it.
Okay.
For either judge.
Very good. Court reporter.
Misty will change it up there.
Oh, I put it
Asking-
on mine.
Well, you're actually sharing that.
Oh, I am?
Yeah,
I changed that?
yes.
Oh, my God.
No, it's. You see your initials up there? Yeah, it's fine. It's all good. Just
Sorry
change
about
it
that
up
over there. Mine was changing on here, but I didn't know who was doing it. Well, I won't do that again.
Court reporter, 49,231, which includes $3,727 above the 3% that everyone else has proposed to get. If we're staying at the 3%, then leave it at 3%.
That's what I think. I mean, we had a salary committee and wage committee work on that stuff.
Fine.
Yep.
And the next court reporter, 45,445, we will leave that at the 3% as well, which that number would be 41,459. I thought I just said it. Go back to the first court reporter, that number then would be 45,359. The next court reporter, 16003, the 3% would be 41,459. Staying consistent, the next court reporter making the same dollar amount, that would stay at 41,459. The next court reporter, 16005, 3% would stay at 41,459. How am I doing, Coach? Line item 16006, request for a new court reporter. There's a request for 4 additional employees, new employees in the budget. I know some people were, in this group were saying there would be no additional employees. Open up for whatever.
What were you talking about? Okay.
Comments, Mike?
Was that I was talking to the
Okay.
folks here.
Whether to add an additional employee to the court for a reporter. Or Tom?
I don't think we're in a position to do that.
I'm sure it's needed. I'm sure every department could use extra help. Like I said, we've talked a little tighter maybe than we would like. I'd love to honor all the requests for new help. Not sure we can. I don't want to go and spend some of this extra money we're getting federal government because of the times we're in, because you don't know how long that's going to be there. It's just like a position funded by a grant. That's great while the grant's there, but when the grant goes away, what do you do with the position?
Yeah, that's going to be there year after year.
Yeah.
So is that a motion to deny that new request?
Do we need a
Not a
motion?
motion, no.
I think we just agree that.
I think
at
we
this
all
time-
agree.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be a $0. Relief court reporter, line item 16008. Request is for $3,000. In the last 3 years, they've spent a combined $375. Reduce that to whatever, or leave it alone.
I think 1,000's fine, my opinion.
About good with 1,000?
Mm-hmm.
Line item 16010. At jurors, $1,000. They've used, that's about what they've used the last 3 years, so I'd say we leave that alone.
Okay,
Pauper attorney, 400,000. 205,000 so far this year, 395,000 2 years ago, 280,000.
probably better leave that alone.
Leave it alone.
I would.
Agreed.
Chief probation officer salary, leave it at the 3%, no change. Probation officer, 16013.
Only these are state mandated positions.
What?
Those are state mandated salaries, those are,
Okay, so if they're all three state mandate, there's not much sense to go over chief probation, probation officer, and probation officer again, correct? Okay. Superior Court 16015 interpreter, request is $4,000. The most they've used in the last 3 years is $275.
I'm okay with 1,000.
Okay. When someone says that, we're gonna leave it at that until someone objects, or not. If I ask everybody all day long, we'll be here forever. So if you view as something different, everybody speak up, but we'll move that to $1,000. Count 16016, expert fees, $7,750. This year they've used nothing, the previous year nothing, and the previous year $3,300.
Reduced to 5,000.
5,000 good?
Yeah.
Yep.
5,000 is that new number? Witness fees, 16018. The budget is $1,000. They have used zero each of the last previous 3 years. Move it to
The 500's good.
500 it is. Longevity is $3,000, obviously 3 employees, that will stay as it is. Office supplies, account 21100. Budget's $8,500, they've used $2,600 this year, $7,000 the previous year, and $7,200 the previous year. So could maybe shave a little off of it.
Yep. 7,500's good.
7,500 is good. Wearing apparel, the budget is $800, they've spent $797 this year, $786 the previous year, $757 the previous year. So here's where we decide whether we have wearing apparel or not. Obviously, if we don't do that, that does not include the dispatchers who have T-shirts, the sheriff's department,
Highway.
yeah, and highway for their
Uniforms.
shirts and their stripes. So we're talking, and there's really issues with this anyway, because some people in their budgets have a big number and they have 3 employees, and some have a smaller number and have 7 employees, and some don't have any. So there has to be, the rhyme or reason, there needs to be consistency. It either, as tight as the budget is, you either disallow it, or every employee gets the same dollar amount. We have to be consistent. So with that,
This is my opinion. When there's a business outside of government, you're usually using apparel for advertising. Okay? So you'd have your corporate logo, you're out advertising for things. Okay? And normally in the government, we're not really advertising for that shirt. It looks nice, but probably a pin, a magnetic thing, a little bit of logo would probably work and be a lot less expensive than the logoed shirt. Logoed shirts look nice, but as we're, going with this tight budget, maybe we reduce that this time until maybe that opens up in the future. It's just my opinion.
And the logo shirts usually aren't personalized, they just have the logo, those name badges that can be worn on anything are usually personalized, so if you need some way for that person to identify themselves as representative of this office of Daviess County, you can put their name on it, like I say, they can wear that on anything, and it'll last a lot longer than, a shirt would, unless they lose it, of course, which happens, but still, they'd be a lot less expensive to get those. I agree.
I also agree.
okay, so we'll eliminate apparel across the board, with the exception.
Have
For
uniforms.
those folks that need
Yeah.
uniforms.
Uniforms are different than, very good. So instead of that $800, that will be a 0. Item 32,200 postage, the budget's $3,750. That's about what they've used each of the last 3 years. Probably we'll leave that as is. Travel mileage and lodging, $1,500. Obviously, COVID has affected that number last year. Previous 2 years was zero. I would think there would be some need there, but we can't necessarily look at how the last year and a half's been.
Mm-hmm.
So, questions, comments?
I'm good with 1,000, it's recommended.
Okay, 1,000 it is. Cell phone, 1,800. I'm not sure how many cell phones we're paying or stipends, but that's consistent with what they've done in the past, so we'll leave that alone. Printing is $750. They've never spent a dime. No, I'm gonna say they've never spent a dime. They have not spent anything in the last 3 years. So $750 can stay. You can reduce it. They can always ask, or we can leave it as is. It's not a big number.
I'm okay with it.
All
Just
right,
leave it for now.
motion, not a motion, but we will leave it alone. Equipment repair, budget's 2,330. They've spent zero this year so far. In the previous 2 years, they have spent nothing. Obviously, there probably needs to be something there, or they'll come back with the request.
I think 1,000's good.
1,000 it is until somebody,
They can appropriate if they need it.
all right. Maintenance contracts. Dale was in here. The maintenance contracts throughout this is a little puzzling, but
Each department with different software vendors and
Yeah.
different things would have them.
well, that's why it looks, the numbers appear to be a little bigger than they have been in the past, but that's,
So one thing I know that they've switched to the new Odyssey.
Right.
That, I don't know the details on that, but that's a possibility as they are mandated by the state to switch to Odyssey.
the budget's 6,250. They spent 2822 this year, 2822 each of the previous 3 years.
Is there also a potential that they just
Pardon?
haven't, is there a potential that some of these, because I noticed in going through these, there's, in some cases, there's a lot of money still sitting there and either nothing or minor numbers have been obligated, but is there a chance that some of them still have contracts or whatever to be awarded yet here at the end of the year?
I would say that is a possibility in some instances, that some of those bills have just not been put through in the claims process yet, so it could still be outstanding that they still have yet to pay.
And I think some of these are guesstimations anyway, so if we need to, obviously we need to leave some money in there, but if we want to lower it to something, we have that option. They can always come back and request. Whatever you want. Reduce it a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, 4,500, a good number?
Yeah.
$4,500. Line item 38,100, dues and subscriptions, budgeted 750. They're averaging 400 this year, 783 and 454.
I'd leave that alone.
Yeah, we'll leave that alone. Depositions and transcripts, budgeted $9,000, you $99 this year, $4,000 a year before, and $8,000 a year before that.
Might have to leave that one go too, I guess, based on, what year was that, 18 or
Yep.
19?
So 19,
I would almost recommend going down a little.
A little bit? Okay.
do what?
Darren thinks we should reduce it a little bit. What are you thinking?
Brought it up, so you shoot us a figure now.
I would say, I would go with 5,000.
Okay?
Okay,
Fine.
5,000, did you hear that? Yep. Meals and lodging, budget's $4,000, obviously, COVID here again, $19, I don't know how we get $19. Previous budget was also $4,000, we spent $495 in 2020 and $1,700 in 2019.
About 2,000.
3,000 it is.
I
Office,
didn't change anything.
what?
I didn't touch
Oh,
anything.
Misty's done it.
We get to blame Misty on these things. Okay, meals, office machines. Budget's $12,000, spent $4,100 this year, $4,200 previous year, and $200 the year before.
5,000's a good number.
I like that.
Yep.
5,000 is a
Bring
good
that
number.
up, so.
Furniture fixtures, budget's 2,000, they spent 0, 0, and 1,400 in 2020. Leave it, reduce it,
I'd say leave it.
We'll leave it.
Last year.
license renewal's $1,500.
Can't change that, right? Or
It's
that's-
never,
That's Office 365, so you can't do anything with that.
okay. Law books, $2,000, $175 this year, $311 the year before, $224 the year before.
Make that 1,000.
1,000 it is. Good?
Good.
Well, there's 7 employees, it'd stay the same. You gotta speak up so everybody down there can hear.
So I just.
In my opinion, we said all full-time employees. What the budget committee decided, so all full-time employees.
Anybody have an issue with that?
No, I've talked to one of them earlier this year about that, and that's what they talked about. I mean, their salaries are set by the state, we don't have control over it. But on the other hand, they've had to work through these same conditions and all that. That was the reasoning for awarding the bonus was because we had a lot of people working in some pretty stressful conditions last year with everything, particularly before vaccines came out earlier this year, so I'm good with that.
Very good. You good to Superior? Circuit? Ooh, what happened? I gotta be careful what I touch here. Very first line item. Yeah, 1091, reporter venue per diem. $200, they've never used it, but it's only $200. We good with that?
Yep.
Bonus, includes judge probation, if every full-time county employee gets it. And it will stay the same at 13,000. Bail or venue per diem, $150, it's never been used, but $150, probably leave it. Psychiatric services, budget 700, each of the previous 3 years, nothing. Leave, lower,
You gotta have something there in case they do have to use it.
we'll leave it as is. Relief bailiff, which is account 11,800, $500. Once again, had never been used, but if you ever do need it, it's not much money. Leave it.
Yep.
Good.
Social Security Group Health and Perf. Those will be self-calculated once we get down here to the money. Registration fees, line item 15030, $1,500. Zero's been used this year. Sorry? Did skip it?
Yeah, we skipped.
Okay. Bailiff, line item 13007, budget is $1,500. Zero has been used each of, well, 200 was used one time. 0, 200, and 0, the last 3 years.
We can knock that down to 1,000.
1,000?
Yeah.
Registration fees, we just covered that one ahead at it, it's at 1,000. Raises. Judge asking for additional 1,063.82 above the 3%. Previously, we just gave the other judge 3%. Staying consistent, we will leave that at 3%. Court reporter, budget, when I say 49,231, keep in mind 27 pays versus 26 pays, so that's actually not, but asking for a $5,000 raise, which is $3,727.79 over and above the 3%. Previously, we had stated there would be a couple exceptions in the budget, but for the most part, we were staying at 3%.
Agree.
That number then is 45,359. Same with the next court reporter, 16003. That number would stay at 41,459. Next court reporter, 16004, 41,459. And the final one at account 16005, 41,459. Relief court reporter, budget is 500. Actually has spent 2,982 this year, 500 the year before, 1,500 the year before. So maybe, boy, you hate to add money to something, but we're obviously spending more money than that, so we can make that
3,000 or 3,500? What do you think?
wouldn't go any higher than what they've spent.
So, I mean, is that something they can come back for an appropriation? if they get to
That's a
that
good,
level?
good suggestion.
And then we can keep it at what we wanted to keep it, and then,
The only thing on the appropriations that you might consider on that is the timing of it.
gotcha.
There's some delays in getting approved.
Well, they had 500. They've done up to 3,000 in the past. So we're gonna put like 2,500 in, as suggested, and then
Okay.
what happens.
Yep.
I'm comfortable with that. Circuit court line item 16009 grand. I put $400 in there. It is never, I'm not gonna say never. The last 3 years, there has not been money spent. Leave it at 400 or put it at
I'm good with the 0 on that.
0.
Yeah.
Headed jurors, $8,000. Of course, there hasn't been a lot of, obviously COVID has affected the court system tremendously, but $8,000 a budget. This year has spent 0. 1,395 in 2020, and in 2019, 0. What number you want, people?
4,000 is fine.
Yeah, cut it in half.
Yeah.
Cut it to $4,000. Pauper attorney, $275,000. So far this year, we've spent 110. Previous years, we spent 181, and in 2019, 252,000. So the request is actually a little higher than the budget was originally.
They hit to 250?
Where was that?
That work? $250,000.
I know that's always a large expense, that they've come back several times and asked for more here. And probably last year was affected by the pandemic and so forth, I know, cut down on trials and stuff. But, no, that's fine.
And
Let's come back and ask.
They're annualized at 156 for this year, so.
Line item 16013, probation officer. Believe as requested. Expert fee, 36,879.
You need an interpreter.
Interpreter,
Yeah.
request is $2,000, spent $300 so far this year, $1,767 the previous year, $2,617 the previous year. So we can,
Is it two?
2,000 it is. Expert fees, $400 is the budget. Spent 4,500 this year, 400 a year, or the previous 2 years, 0.
Leave that alone.
All right, leave it alone at 400. Line item 16017, probation officer, we leave it at the 3%, 61,670, and that's mandated.
Not necessarily 3%, but that's.
Yeah, that's mandated, so there's nothing we can do anyway. Witness fees, $300. There has been 0 spent each of the last 3 years.
I'm all right with the 300.
Leave it at 300. Probation caseworker, that's also mandated, so we will leave that as stated. Secretary, 36,136, that's 3%, so leave it as is. Line item 16021, magistrate, 77,119, also, that's not mandated. That's the 3%. Good with leaving it at 3%?
Mm-hmm.
Casa Director, 43,620, that is 3%. Good.
Yep,
Casa Coordinator, once again, 38,483, which is 3%.
good.
37,555 is 3%. The part-time court reporter, which would be new position, budgeted 41,942. Obviously, a new position, there's nothing spent the previous 3 years. We didn't allow the court reporter in the previous one, so I run up
0.
consistency here. Longevity, 6,600, that's nothing we can do there, that's the math. Office supplies, 8,500, we've used 5,717, 8,237, and 5,515. Pretty well in line with what they're spending. Wearing apparel, 1,200, we scratched that from the previous and we weren't gonna do it unless it's a uniform. Line item 31,900, GAL Casa, matching
that-
funds.
Yeah, that's a grant, so
Yep.
that one can't change.
Yep, nothing we can do there, so it stays at 12,894. Postage, 4,000, nothing has been spent this year, and 4,000 was in 2020, and 2019, 0. Leave reduce,
Got a history of using 4,000. I don't know what happened this year.
all right,
A lot of the postage this year has not been on there. I guess they said something about when they have to pay to fill the machine or something,
Yeah.
so I think we probably better leave that alone.
that's fine, we'll leave that alone.
Here,
Travel mileage, once again, those numbers, $3,000, $93 this year, $1,011 and $29.68 previous year.
I'd say leave that one.
Leave that one. Telephone, $1,200. That's consistent with what they're spending. We will leave that. Printing, $1,000. That's close, not this year so far. Maybe they're gonna purchase something by the end of the year, but the previous 2 years, that's well within what they're spending. We'll leave that at $1,000. Good?
Yep.
Equipment repair, $11,000. Spent $6,000 this year, $6,000 the previous year, and $6,000 the previous years.
They're spending 6,010 every year.
Every year, $6,010, so we'll make it $6,010. Dues and subs, $1,400 is the budget. They spent $175 this year, $993 the previous year, and $993 the previous year.
1,000.
$1,000. Depositions and transcripts, 5,000, spent nothing this year, 2826 the previous year, 6,065 in 2019.
Probably okay with 5 on that.
Fine to leave it.
Yeah,
Meals and lodging, $1,000, 517 this year, 170 in 2020, 635 in 2019.
I'm good with that.
We're good with that. Office machines, $10,000. Been $661 so far this year, 317 the year before, and $41 the year before.
Yeah, I think we can lower that 5,000
5,000?
back out of.
5,000 it is. Furniture and fixtures, which is line item, you don't need line item 44,300. Request is 3,500. They spent 0 this year, and 0 in 2020, and 0 in 2019.
All right with 1,000 in there.
$1,000. License renewals,
Can't do anything.
Nothing.
budget is 1,750. There's nothing for the previous 3 years.
That's the Office 360.
Office 365 stays, and law books. Last item's $8,000. Spent 3,800 so far this year, 6,777 the previous year, and 6,043 the previous year.
That's their subscription.
You good with it?
I think we leave that.
All right.
Okay.
Takes care of Circuit Court. Good. Questions, comments? You good? Next up is Casa. And that is a grant for 2022. Not much we can, that's That's all the way.
It's not
Yep.
our stuff anyway.
All right. We move from there to juvenile probation. I don't have to read each line item because it all stays. Juvenile probation GED program, $1,000 is the budget. There hasn't been anything spent the previous 3 years. Leave it. What do you,
All right, I'm okay with that.
oh, that was a question, not a statement, so.
No, I would say that, you know, there are opportunities there for that. It's probably a good program, I believe.
Okay. Psychological medical care, $2,500. There's been zero spent the previous 3 years.
Make it 500 or 1,000?
I'd probably leave it 1,000, just that way if
1,000
they,
because
if they do
yeah,
need services.
We might, you need it.
Yeah.
Okay.
$1,000. Evidence-based practice, $5,000. Zero has spent the previous 3 years. That doesn't mean it's not needed, obviously.
They go with 1,000 on that, we can cut that
Make
back.
it $1,000. Cell phone budget is $3,500. We've spent $1,088 this year, $1,848 the previous year, and $1,860 the previous year.
I'm good with the 2,500.
$2,500.
Mhm.
Electronic monitoring, ankle bracelets, we can see what we've spent, 1744, 1633, and 2,642.
Seems like we could reduce that a little bit.
Mhm.
What do we
We're not
annualize?
spending that much, we can leave it, they're not gonna obviously spend it if
You wanna go 4,000 on that, Tom?
$4,000.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Substance abuse program, $1,000 is the budget.
I just leave it.
Zero's been spent the previous 3 years. Obviously, they're not gonna spend it unless they have the need, but there needs to be something there.
Right.
You what?
I'd leave it.
Leave
All
it.
right. Drug screen, $2,500, spent $390 this year, $518 the previous year, $640 the year before that.
Reduce to 1,500.
Good? $1,500. And the catch-all, $39,900 miscellaneous, the budget's $2,000, nothing has been spent out of that in the last 3 years.
1,000's good on that.
$1,000. Juvenile probation, good?
Yep.
Yeah. Adult probation. Much longer. Social Security, Medicare, Group Health, and PERF. Keep in mind here, there are no full-time employees in this. So by default, the group health and PERF would go away anyway, correct? So that 5,000 and 5,000 is zero because there is no full-time employees. And then Social Security will be adjusted by what we do down below. So we'll leave that at the 3,500. Conference registration and lodging, budget's $10,000, spent $600, $716, $4186 being the most, which was in the year of 2019.
Let's reduce to 5 and then appropriate if they have a.
Move it to $5,000. Part-time help, $37,000. We've spent $6,940 this year, $12,594 the previous year, $12,439 the previous year.
About 15 in there.
That good, 15?
Yeah.
15,000 it is. Office supplies, budget is $10,000. I've used $2,000 so far this year, $1,378 the year before, $2,366 the year before, so we're averaging $2,000.
See if they're annualized.
How much?
Hold on here. 28, so they're annualized at 28. How about 3,000 in there?
Good with three?
Yes.
$3,000. Other supplies, $3,000. We've used $231 so far this year, $970 the year before, $774 the year before.
I'd say reduce to 1,500.
Reduce $1,500.
Good.
Wearing apparel, being consistent, that would be zero. the adult probation GED program, $500. Nothing has been spent the previous 3 years, but obviously
Let's leave that.
I would leave it, you know. Sex offender treatment program, $1,000 is the budget, which has been the budget each and every year, and 0 has been spent.
You have to leave that one too.
Leave that alone. Postage, $3,000. We've spent 220, 220, and 220. Lease, we're very consistent.
How about 500 in there?
500 it is. Once again, when somebody says something, somebody has an objection, speak up. Or
Not so far.
Or question, or whatever.
do what?
Yeah,
No,
really,
No,
nothing.
I think
Okay.
we're doing good.
that's good.
Travel, mileage, and lodging. The budget is $4,000. Used $190 this year, $295 the year before, $1,260 the year before. Keep in mind, another COVID item, that there wasn't anybody going anywhere.
Had 2,000 in there.
2,000?
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cell phone, $3,500. We spent $1,375 this year, $1,839 the previous year, $1,860 the previous year. I don't know how many that is.
2,500?
2,500 is what I was thinking.
25? 2,500? We get a little quick, say something. Printing, the budget's $2,000. We spent $228, $272, and $870 each of the previous 3 years.
Okay with that. 1,000.
$1,000. Software contract at $2,000. Have to leave that alone.
Yeah,
Equipment repair, $2,500. We've spent $175, $360, and $775 the previous 3 years.
Like we could do something there, probably.
15?
1,500?
$1,500. Evidence-based programs, $15,000. We've spent 0 the previous 3 years.
We're okay with the proposed 5,000 on that.
$5,000.
I have no idea.
Drug screening, the budget's $13,000. Spent $5,662 this year, $8,643 the previous year, and in 2019, $11,646.
Right.
Leave it.
Probably.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll leave it.
Office equipment, the budget is $10,000. Spent 0 so far this year, $815 in 2020,
Wow.
and in 2019, 0.
About 2,000 there.
$2,000. License renewals, $2,000. That has to stay. Computers, office machines, $10,000. Spent $1,348 so far this year, $7,375 the previous year, $9,375 the previous year. 77.
No, that's one he was, I know that was Dan's talking about. They're spending it. No, we were talking about,
Computers and office machines.
no, I remember you were talking about computers last time you were in. We're not doing yours, I don't think, right now.
Is the probation part of the Odyssey stuff? They have to upgrade their computer. I think it was.
Okay. Then it stays. It for adult. Next, community corrections, a longer budget. First one is the coordinator, salary $30,894. We gotta keep in mind, this isn't their salary split,
Yeah.
so in two areas, because if you look at the next one, the director, that's $25,000 less than what that person really makes because it's in the other budget as well. So if we're staying with the 3%, the coordinator stays at 3%, $30,894, realizing that that's just a portion of their budget. Director, $50,771, that's 3%, stays consistent. The CTPWR coordinator, $35,655, 3% stays consistent. Clerical new employee, $25,838. The comment is a new employee, but not a new position. They reduced the salary because of the years of experience.
Good with that.
That's due to one of theirs retiring.
What?
That's due to one of their retirees coming up.
Leave it?
Yeah,
Okay, leave it at 25,838. Obviously, Social Security Group Health and Perf, we will leave as is, because if budgets change, then that will change as the calculation goes, so we can't guesstimate that one. Part-time supervisors, 7,000 is the budget, and 0 has been spent the previous 3 years.
like we could do something there. 0?
Yeah, we can cut it to 0.
0 it is. Case manager, here again, keep in mind these next 5, this is a portion of their salary.
Okay. That's all at 3%?
They're all 3%. We will leave them, which would be case manager 27,772, case manager HD 26,754, case manager WR 27,772, CPB manager 39,658, and the screening intake coordinator 25,621. And here again, I've said it 3 times. Keep in mind that's not their salary. That's a portion. Office supplies. The budget's 1,250, they spent 210, 844, and 480,
I'm good with 1,000 there.
$1,000. Program supplies, $2,000, we've spent 660, 542, and 300,
Like 1,000 is good.
1,000. Vehicle supplies, the budget's $1,200, we've spent $63 this year, 514 the previous year, 536 in 2019,
I'm good with the 750 on that.
750. Postage, the budget's 220, we spent zero so far this year, 110 the previous year, and 0 the year before. That's not a big line item.
Leave it.
Travel, mileage, lodging, once again, there hasn't been a lot of that in the previous 18 months. The budget's 1,500, 0 spent this year, 109 the year before, 2707 the previous year.
Probably leave that alone.
Leave it, yep.
Leave it?
Yep.
Printing, $425. Nothing has been spent the previous 3 years.
200.
200, I'm good with that.
$200. Maintenance contracts, $1,200, that has to stay, correct? Equipment lease rental, $150,000, 92,653 this year, 189,296, and 181,746 the previous year.
Is that their rental and their bill?
That's their, the equipment lease rental is their electronic monitoring bracelets. He said it runs about
Yeah,
15,000 a
mention.
month.
How many she had?
No sense in that bracelets, if we're not gonna monitor them.
Some of them might fall for it.
Might trick a few of them. Dues and subscriptions, $300. In the previous 3 years, spent a total of $150. Not a big line item, whatever anybody wants.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
300?
Leave it, 300. Drug and alcohol testing, the budget's 15,000, spent 5,000 this year, 5,355 the previous year, 5,642 the previous year.
7,500?
7,500 it is. The last one's license renewals, we cannot cut. Adult protection, we're good? Okay, we're gonna take a 10-second break. Sorry, still working. That's it. Community corrections problems? Questions? Community transition. There's not much there. It's consistent with what they're spending. Leave it alone.
I'm good with that one.
Good with it.
Community corrections, this is the other half of the people who were salaries from before. Coordinator, that's still at 3%, 15,447. The director is the 3%, 25,655. Bonus, $9,000, 9 employees. So that stays. The CTP WR coordinator, 17,826 is the 3%. Clerical, 12,905 is 3%. Social Security Group Health Perf will stay the same if we don't make any corrections or additions. Part-time supervisors, 34,200. We spent 12. No, that's budget. Spent nothing the previous 3 years. What? All right, yep, that was zero in the previous budget, we'll stay consistent. Zero it is. Case manager WRHD, 3%, 13,887. Case manager HD, 13,378 is the 3%. Case manager WR, 13,887 is the 3%. CPV, the 3% is 20,096. Screening intake coordinator, 13,080 is the 3%. Retirement pay out of time, that's what the retired person's gonna get. That's what the days they've got, nothing we can do. Longevity, that's the number of employees. Good?
Yep.
Kinda like those. Out of the general budget, County Co-op Extension Service Agency. First is the bonus, 2 employees, $2,000. 4-H assistance, $10,000 is the budget, $6,000 was spent last year, $12,000 and $12,000.
With that,
Good with that. First deputy, 38,787 is the 3%. Good?
Yep.
Social Security Group Health Perf, those will all adjust if we change salaries, wages. Second deputy, the 3% is 37,555. Extra clerical is $1,500. Zero has been used the previous 3 years.
500.
500 it is. Summer assistant at $8 an hour. $5,000 is the budget. Zero spent last year, zero the year before, 2009, 42 the year before that.
I know they wanted to keep
Luis,
that.
you were gonna keep that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
the only reason why we,
They keep it.
for this,
Okay.
Okay.
We'll keep it.
That'll stay. Longevity, 1,700 will stay. Office supplies, $3,000 is the budget, 1,405 was spent so far this year, $1,000 the year before, 2,741 the year before that,
Let's try to trim that back to 2,500 then.
2,500. Educational supplies, $500 is the budget, zero spent so far this year, 457 and 234. We'll leave it. Uniforms, $200, spent 182 and 185.
Is that what we were gonna eliminate that or not? Or do they need that?
normally when we do the, for the office staff, they will have
But do they wear those to the places that they, is,
for our office staff. And we'll go in a program like air, or if we have, having had, hopefully, they go to a
If we're gonna be consistent and eliminate it, we should eliminate that one too, you think?
like I say, I mean, they got some, up to you guys.
I think we have to be consistent. I mean,
Yep.
you know, they can do name tags or something.
All right, 0.
zero. Computer supplies, $750, spent 300 so far this year, 699 and 750, that's pretty consistent. Leave it.
Good.
Computer University contract, 20740, 405,
Yeah,
nothing we can do about that. Postage, 1,800, we've spent 522 this year, 2,400 the year before, 310 the year before that. That's probably an average.
Okay, that's good.
Travel mileage lodging, once again, COVID has impacted that, 7,000 as the budget, 218 so far this year, 2,620 the previous year, 5,515 the previous year,
I'm okay with the 6 recommended.
6,000. Telephone, 2,600 is the budget, spent 1,200 so far this year, 1,500 the previous year, and 1,500 the previous year,
2,000.
2,000. Training and education, 1,500 is the budget, spent 0, 0, and 750 the previous year, $1,000. Equipment repair, $600, spent $112 this year, 125 the previous year, and 0 the previous year.
500.
500. Maintenance agreements, 3,500. Does that have to stay as it is, or can it be lowered?
They've been pretty consistent.
$1,106 this year, $1,128 the year before, and $1,775 the year before.
I'm good with 2.
$2,000. Dues and subs, budget $650, spent $29 and $554. Not a big line item. Office equipment, $8,500, spent $12,000 so far this year, $3,960 the previous year, and $5,201 the year before that.
Would you get a new printer or copier?
No, have to add some office. Now, want to keep some. Probably a book. So we
Would like to reduce that down a little bit.
close, the office.
$5,000? You all right with 5?
Yeah, I mean,
Do you have any equipment coming up for lease renewal?
We have some renewal now. Probably some.
Let's put 5 in there.
You, good.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
6,000.
Yep, that'd be
Is that good?
yep.
All right.
Good.
Oh, that's,
Solid waste.
yeah, it's a link.
Hmm?
Click on the link, it'll take you there.
Here.
Click on it.
What link? Oh, right there.
Oh, is it
I think
not?
I got it on my own.
Well, it's in the other folder, it won't do it there. You'll have to go to your OneDrive.
Where is that?
I'm looking.
You might not have had it last time.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Their budget.
Right.
Say that again.
Adopt it.
So we don't need to do line item, it's all or nothing.
I looked over it, I was fine with it.
Okay. So then I gotta go back to the shared. Correct.
Oh, you don't wanna be on that. Go to your Excel.
Next, county surveyor. Elected official, that's his 3% at 96.58. Bonus, he's the only employee. Social Security, Medicare, group health and perf will change if wages change, and it did not. Registration fees, $500, he's used 0, 0, and 100.
Okay.
Leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deputy surveyor, part-time help, Budget's $5,843. He has spent $918 this year, $312 the year before, and $1,124 the year before.
About 2,500 in there.
2,500. Office supplies, $1,000. He hasn't used any, but he's just now into an office that's different.
Right.
So needs to be some consideration on,
They let him have it for setting up the office.
Okay.
Yep. Field supplies, 3,000, zero, 1239.
Said he was ordering some new stuff, some
No, I remember
brackets
that,
and
yeah.
things.
Okay, we'll leave it. Travel, mileage, lodging, $400. He hasn't used any, but it's not a big deal, big number. Meals and lodging, 500 is the same thing.
Okay,
Dues and subs, $500.
Okay.
Zero this year, $100 and zero. Section quarter references, it's an ongoing thing, and at $2,500 are we setting up the office. There's not much we can do there. Southeast Fire, we just approve as is. Yep. So we're good with that. Their money, APC. Plan Commission. Legal Services, they had budgeted 12,000, they've spent zero so far this year, 2,600 the year before, and 600 the year before.
5,000.
5,000.
Yep.
Postage, 500, and they haven't spent anything the previous 3 years.
Dollars.
How much?
100.
$100. Printing, 500 is out of budget, they've spent zero the previous 3 years.
100.
100. Advertising, 500, they have spent $18 3 years ago.
100.
100. Sign director contract, city, nothing we can do about that. Beal Creek Fire, once again, we approve as is. Davis County Soil and Water. Coordinator, the 3% is 18,041. Livestock and Conservation Tech, the 3% is 47,661. 2 employees, so the bonus is $2,000. Social Security Group Health Perf will not change unless we change pay of anyone. Secretary, 3% is 38,787. Longevity, $800, nothing we can do there. Office supplies, $1,200, they spent $3,131, $5,500, and $2,000. Leave it.
Leave it.
Yeah.
Internet service, $1,100, consistent with what they're spending.
Good.
Mileage, $2,000, they spent zero, $317, and $818.
We do 1,000 there?
Yeah, let's see that.
$1,000. Office rent, $3,402, and they have spent zero in the last 3 years.
We asked them about that. Huh?
Yeah, there was a note.
Not sure of the situation on that, how that works on there, because they share offices with the USDA there, so I can't answer that.
In the letter, I don't know if she. It's about the.
I just had a note that they were in there with the USDA office, so I don't know.
My note was that they use the office help and then they exchange that rent for the office help, is what my note says.
Okay.
Yet they're not, but yet there's nothing spent in it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll leave it. All right. Leave it at the 3402. The license renewal is $500. Nothing's been spent the previous 3 years.
You have to keep that, it's Office 360.
Office 365, it stays. Logs budget, they have that money, that is in their budget, not taxed, we just approve it as is.
They have a board,
Yep, because their board does,
but,
so that,
but they, I think they pretty much stay in line with the county.
County clerk. Elected official, that's the 3%, 50,704. Bonus, 10,000. That has to stay. First deputy, there's two of them. 38,787 is the 3%. Social Security group health perf stays the same unless we make an adjustment. Second deputy, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, all making the same. The 3% is 37,555. That will not change. Takes us down to registration fees. 1,200 is a budget, spent 850 the year before, 250 and 1,050 the year before that. Leave the 1,200.
I would.
I just
Yeah.
leave it.
Extra clerical, 6,560, zero this year, zero the year before, 2,564. Keep in mind, next year is an election year, which is, so we'll leave it. Longevity, that number will stay the same. Office supplies, $8,000. I spent $37,87, $72,11, and $9,746. Pretty consistent.
Probably leave that.
Yeah. Official records, $4,000, 0, and $487.
Let's take that one down to 1,000.
Down to 1,000. Microfilm supplies, $2,000. They spent $187, $410, and $191 the previous 3 years.
Take that down to $1,000.
Down to 1,000. Wearing apparel will get scratched. Everybody else's did. Postage, $20,000. They spent $122, $17, $120, $75, $20. But it is an election year.
They had a lot of that with, people voting,
Mail.
absentee voting, so I think that'll be.
Cut it a little or leave it.
Well, 2020 was election year, and you had 17,000.
We'll leave it at $20,000. Travel mileage, 2,500. They spent $327, $753, and $1158 the previous 3 years.
1,500?
18?
15.
1,500. Spring, $3,500. Spent $1356 so far this year, $1362 the previous year, $3360 the year before that.
Better leave that one alone.
Leave that one alone. Rebinding records, the budget's $2,800, spent 0 this year, $2,800 the year before, $2,800 the year before. I'm guessing we're gonna spend $2,800 in the next 3 months.
I'll leave that.
Equipment repair, $1,500, spent 0, 0, and 108.
500?
$500. Maintenance contracts, $3,600, spent $1,565, $3,443, $3,368.
Better leave that one go too, I think.
Leave that one at is at $3,600. Equipment lease rental, $3,960, spent $2,940 this year, $3,900 and $3,900.
Leave it.
We'll leave that. Dues and subs, $673, spent $615, $615, $585.
Good.
Leave that one. Office equipment, $6,906 is the budget, spent $98 this year, $1,295 the year before, and $251 the year before.
Send us a letter.
Yeah, new
Just give
copier.
you a new copier.
New copier.
Furniture and fixtures, $1,500, and we spent 0 each of the previous 3 years.
500?
$500. License renewals, Office 365, nothing we can do. Computer equipment, $4,000. 0, 374, and 64.
1,500?
1,500. Voter registration. 2 central count board couriers, $400. Obviously, election year, there wasn't anything the previous year. We'll leave that one. Election board, 3 members, 2,610. We spent $1,268. During the election year, we spent $2,500. So we'll
Leave it.
leave it. Absentee voters board, 8,200. Nothing last year, but during the election, spent $4,247.
Probably better keep in mind the absentee voting.
Probably gonna increase again.
Leave it?
I think that's the traveling board, and like last year, they were under what they requested for next year, but I think last year probably there was less travel board going out because they were just a lot of the places where they go are like nursing homes, they probably weren't allowed in last year.
Mm-hmm, that's good.
I imagine that might go up again next year.
We'll leave it.
Leave it.
Voter registration officer, 1,700, consistent with what it's been, especially in an election year. We will leave it. Inspector, 6,240. Obviously, nothing last year, but the last election was $5,200.
Leave it.
Leave it. Judge for the election, 10,640. Nothing last year, but 9,000 the year of the election. Leave it.
Yes.
Clerks, same scenario, nothing last year, but on the last election, it was 9,130. We'll leave that. Absentee travel board, wasn't any place to travel last year, but the election year, previous election was $625.
That seems a little high, doesn't it? For the history. 1,500?
Yeah.
1,500. Bonus, that will stay for the number of employees. Social Security Group Health Perf, unless we make an adjustment, those will stay the same. Second deputy, the 3% is $37,555. Overtime, $2,400. Hasn't been used last year. It wasn't used either during the election year, but, you know, who knows what this election year will hold.
How about 500?
500. Registration fees, $800, 50 this year, 110 the year before, $390 the year before.
500?
500. Part-time help. The budget's $37,500. It's been $1,558 this year. Last election year, we spent $24,860, and previous year, $21,861.
I'm thinking 27.5 myself, but just my thought. You guys have any opinion on that?
I remember Janice talking about,
Well, she was gonna give a meal raise and what was that?
but probably needing a little extra help this time.
I'm actually good with the 30,000 recommended if you want.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's
30,000.
that's appropriate.
Yeah. $30,000. Longevity, 300. Voting supplies, 2,250. Obviously, it wasn't much used last year. The previous election, 4,467. We'll leave it at the 2,250. Election kits, $3,000. Nothing last year. Then the last election, 350. In the previous year, 844.
I cut that to 1,500.
15.
1,500.
1,500. Wearing apparel has been scrapped. Postage, 2,000. The last election was 2,000.
I'm
No.
good with that. Yep.
Yep. Leave that one. Travelage mileage and lodging, $2,000, $85 this year, $504 during the election year, and $1349 the year before.
1,000.
1,000.
Yep.
Printing, $2,000, $296 this year, $3,119 the year before, $1,655 the year before.
I'd leave that
Better
one.
stay with that.
We'll leave it at 2. Publications, legal notices, $2,000. $29 this year, and $1,000 the year before, and $340 the year before.
1,000?
1,000.
$1,000. Technicians repairs, voter machines, last year surprisingly nothing. The last election year, $9,000. We may need to leave that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Maintenance contracts, 53.5, 12,000 this year, 13,450, and 13,500 the year before.
This was if we wanted to lock it in for 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
I think we just do the
Yeah.
single
Just do
year.
the
It was
one
like, it was like 14,000 something per year, or if you locked it in for 4, it come
13
down.
It was 13, but there was no guarantee that it wouldn't increase. But we'll just do it, my opinion is we do it for the year and then we just revisit it next year.
Yeah.
Is that 13 gonna be
It's
enough?
13, yeah,
Okay.
that covers it. That's in the letter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember reading it.
Yes.
$13,000.
It was 12 this year and then
Okay.
13 next year and then. If we went to lock it in, that was the 53.5.
Registration of voters,
So clarification, you do,
13,000.
you do not want to lock it in.
Registration of voters, budget's $1,110. Obviously, last year, nothing, $1,000 a year before, so we'll leave it.
Go.
Setting up tables and chairs for the elections, last year, 0, previous election, 670. We'll leave that.
Leave that.
Meals for elections, $6,440. Last year, nothing. The previous election, $4,144.
I'm good with the 5,000.
$5,000. License renewals, $500. That will stay. Computer equipment, $3,000. Spent $6,921 this year and $547 the year before and 0 the year before that.
I'm okay with
I'd
that.
leave it.
Good?
Hey, yeah, just, Tony, just clarification on the maintenance and contracts again, at 13. In her thing here, she's saying if the council chooses to do the contract each year, instead of 4, it would be 14.5.
Is it 14.5?
Yeah.
That needs to be 14.5.
You get that? I'm good, but does anybody need a break?
Okay.
Okay. You three need. Visitors Bureau, 292, 250. The way that one is. Treasurer. Elected official, 50,704 is the 3%. The bonus for the 4 employees, $4,000. First deputy, the 3% is 38,787. Social Security Group Health Perf will stay as approved unless we make a change on salaries or wages. Second deputy, the 3% is 37,555. There's two second deputies, that will stay the same. Registration fees, $1,000, spent $310 this year, $150 the year before, and $645 the year before. Leave it. Registration fees, line item 15030.
Yeah, that's good.
Huh?
You leave it at 1,000?
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
mean, okay, that was a question. Extra clerical, 11,476 is the budget. So far this year, 4,301, previous year, 6,424, previous year, 8,451.
I'd like to cut that back a little bit.
How far?
To that 9's good.
9's good?
9.
Okay.
9,000?
9,000.
$9,000. Longevity, number of employees, that will stay the same. Office supplies, $2,063, spent $1,085 this year, $3,338 the previous year, $1,863.
Good with that.
We'll leave that one. Printer supplies, $2,000, hasn't been anything spent the previous 3 years, which means
He did talk about that they had some new inks and purchase.
we will leave that. Postage, $8,500, $6,123 this year, $8,071 the previous year, and $8,000 the previous year. So that's right in line with what's
Looks
going
good.
out. Travel, mileage, lodging, $2,000, $204 this year, $690 the previous year, $1,114 the previous year. Obviously, COVID affects that the last 18 months.
How about 1,500 in there?
$1,500. Printing $100, 0 this year, $443 the previous year, and 0 the previous year.
Right with that?
We'll leave it. Tax statements. Don't know what else we can do with that one.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, that's good, that's a
We
good.
could lower it for about 3 or 4 statements.
Yeah.
Equipment repair, $500, nothing's been used, but we can leave that. Dues and subs, $280, that's what they're spending every year. Office machines, $5,000, nothing this year, $7809 the year before, and $188 the year before.
They purchased a copier that year before.
I'm good with the 2,500.
$2,500. License renewals, $1,000, that will stay. Assessor, I heard this one got cut pretty bad. What's that number? Certifications, 500. We'll leave an elected official at 3%, 69,220. Bonus, 5,000, that's the number of people. First deputy will leave as the budget states at the 3%, 39,826. Social Security Group Health Perf will change only if we change the second deputies. 2 second deputies make the same. 38,074 is the 3%. The next second deputy, 37,555 with the 3%. Longevity, no, skip extra help hourly. Budget's 3,900, zero's been spent the previous 3 years.
1,500.
1,500. Longevity, 4,600.
Actually, some of that, that one, hard.
Right.
I'll come back to you.
Give it an even 1,000.
We'll just do 1,000.
Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Longevity stays, office supplies, $4,000, spent 2,681, 505, and 3,805 in 2019.
Good.
We're good with that. Laser repair, $300, hasn't been spent.
That's okay.
But you, in case you need it though.
Yep. Postage, $1,000, has spent zero the previous 3 years.
I have,
Okay.
so I kind of switched. So, yeah, if you want to lower that.
250.
250.
Travel miling at travel, mileage, and lodging. $1,000 is the budget, 87 this year, 655 the year before, 749, another COVID-related item.
Let's leave that.
Yeah.
We'll leave that one. Printing, $1,000, nothing this year, but 189, 190 the previous years.
500.
$500. Advertising, $100, hasn't been used, not a small number. Equipment maintenance, $300. We'll leave that. Dues and subscriptions, $5,000. Spent $2,165, $1,700, and $5,144.
Last year, registrations were.
They leave it.
Leave that at 5,000. License renewals, $1,250. We'll leave.
Sounds good.
Reassessment. Office workers, 10,000, zero has been used the previous years.
That's the most.
Really, that's consistent with everything, the entire budget. We'll approve that entire budget as it is.
Good with that.
Sounds fine to me.
Emergency management.
Right.
Emergency management director, that 3% is 42,335. Bonus, $1,000, only one full-time employee. Administrative assistant, 12,340 will stay. Deputy director, part-time, 13,354 will stay. Social Security perf group health stays. Overtime, $200, never been used, not a big number. Training and education, 2,500, we view 0, 0, and 0.
Throw 1,000 on it.
$1,000 longevity, 400. Stays other supplies, $3,000. We've used $1,760 this year, $1,537 the previous year, and 0 the year before that.
2,000.
$2,000. Gasoline, diesel, and oil, budget's $3,000, $954 this year, $1,029 the previous year, and 0 the year before that.
Do 2,000?
$2,000. Travel, mileage, and lodging, $1,600. We spent 0, 0, and 0.
1,000.
$1,000. Telephone is $4,000. is the budget request. We spent 1745, 2582, and in 2019, 3359.
Might have to let that one go there.
I just leave it.
Leave. Printing, $1,000, 117 so far this year, 0 the year before, 1366 the year before that.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, leaving it at 1,000. Repair and maintenance, $2,000, spent 2,500 this year, 1,000 the year before, and 2,943 the year before.
Better let that go.
We'll leave that one. Dues and subscriptions, 500, spent 126, 240, 105.
That's
Well,
okay.
Leave that. And equipment, $8,900, spent 1,000 this year, 8,424 the previous year, and purchased some equipment in 2019 for 50 grand.
Oh,
Take away the year of the purchase.
Leave it then.
7,500?
Everybody's go to 7,500, 7,500.
Yeah.
Emergency planning. Next, training education, the budget's $3,000, spent 64 this year, 140 the year before, 1,781 the year before.
Which one we on?
LEPC.
Oh, LEPC, okay, got it.
Want to go 2,000 there?
$2,000. Office supplies, 250 hasn't been used.
Leave that.
We'll leave that. Hazmat supplies, 750 has not been used. Probably should leave it.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Contract services, the same every year. 2,500 is budgeted, 2,500 spent every year. Postage, $100.
Good.
We'll leave it. Advertising is $100. We've spent 19, 18, and 17.
I just leave it.
We'll leave that, and
Leave it.
repair and maintenance, 300 we'll leave.
Good.
Airport. Manager, the 3% is 57,840. Bonus for the full-time employee is the 1,000. Social Security group health perf stays the same unless we change some dollars on wages. Assistance, $30,000, $1,562 an hourly rate. Last year was $11,838. The previous $15,988, $18,450.
That increase was because of the county minimum. They didn't know that they could go to the county minimum. They were paying less than the county minimum, so they raised it to match. What that is. So I'm good with that. They've cut their budget a bunch this year, so.
Yep. Yeah. Previous 537 and 280, previous budget's $537,000, you're down to 390.
A lot of that has to do with grant matching and things like that.
Office supplies, $750, consistent with what they're spending. Other supplies, $3,000, consistent with what they're spending. Gasoline, diesel, and oil, $100,000, consistent. Publications, legal notices, $500. Nothing has been spent, but here again, there may be something. Engineering, legal, and audit, $2,500, spent zero, $3,400, and $1,866.
They reduced that.
4,200, no, 6,000 is the budget, 4,240 spent this year, 4,240 and 1188.
Insurance.
Yep.
Liability.
Official bonds, $1,000, nothing's been spent. I'll leave that one. Utilities, $24,000, consistent with what's being spent. Storage building repair, $35,000, 7,099 this year, 333 the previous year, 44,983 the previous year.
Hate that creeping up on us. I'd go back to the original budget. I'd put 30,000 in there.
30,000. Equipment repair, $10,000, spent 5,230, 13,351, 15,614.
Better leave that one go.
Leave that one. Drainage repair, $2,500, spent zero. And then 10,594.
You'll have it with,
Yeah, you're on the airport board, you know.
no, I formerly was.
Oh, okay.
Couldn't do both when I was
Okay.
here. But yeah, that fluctuates based on things year to year, so they just did a really big vamp with that 10,000. That was some of the, when they were doing the new taxiway and some of that stuff, so 2,500 is a good number for that.
Repair the runway lights, 6,000, spent 3960, 3255, 3207. That's the same budget number as last year.
People hit those.
Do what?
People hit
Do
the
people
lights.
hit them?
Yeah. You'll have some short outs, but people will hit them.
I'm good with that, though.
Repair the runways, $8,000. Previous budget's 10. We spent 0 and $673.
Right now, the condition's good. You know, they do some, it was built into another grant where they did some of the repair, you know, in the fill, so that, but they keep that in their budget.
Let's make it 5.
$5,000. Taxiway repair, $8,000. Spent 0 and $77,460.
They got that new taxiway, so some of, that's why that went down so much. That,
You're suggesting leave it?
I would leave that. You just never know when something's gonna happen.
Fuel farm repair, $4,000 less than what's been spent previously. Dues and subs, $3,000. They spent $396, $2,500, and $355.
Okay.
Mowing, $7,000. Spent $2,301 this year, $1,800 the previous year, $2,900 the previous year.
How about 5?
$5,000. County match for grant will stay as requested at the $46,000. Furniture, small appliances, $4,500. We spent $3,579 this year, $2,783 and $5,085 in 2019.
I'm all right with that.
Would you say stays?
I'm good with that.
Yep. Security fencing, $5,000. 0 has been spent the previous 3 years.
That's just as needed if something happens to it.
Okay, stays.
You get into like Homeland Security issues if you don't have that in there. Oh, basically they would come before us and ask for it if we could.
Yeah.
They may not use it this year.
Board of Zoning Appeals, 3 items, legal services, postage, and advertising. Legal services, budget's 14.5, we've spent 2,500, 4,700, and $5,000.
6,000?
$6,000. Postage, $250, which has never been spent.
Okay.
Advertising, $250,
Okay.
spent $150 one time. Recorder. Everybody good?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody good?
Yep.
Elected official, the 3% is $50,704, bonus 3,000 for employees. First deputy, 38,787 is the 3%. Social Security group health perf. Second deputy, 37,555 is the 3%. Registration fees, $1,400. We spent $415, $710, and $550. $1,000. Extra clerical, the budget request is $2,600. We spent $1,855 this year, $2,400 the year before, and $2,600 the year before that, so
Good.
consistent. Longevity obviously will stay the same at $600. Office supplies, $1,500. Spent $925 this year, $1,300 the previous year, and $529 the previous year.
That's good.
Printer supplies, Cressus, $2,000. Spent $668 this year, $1,100 the previous year, and $1,700 the year before that.
Good.
Postage, $1,000. Spent $700 so far this year, $355 and $743 the previous year.
Good.
Travel, mileage, and lodging, $700. Spent $435 this year, 0 the year before, and $87 the year before.
Good.
Maintenance agreements, $4,500. Spent $123, $1963, and $2410. Can that be changed, or does that have to leave?
That one I do not know.
wonder why that, well, they budget 4,500 every year, and yet we've only used 2,400 is the most we've ever used.
So make it 25, and then if we
25.
need to adjust,
25 be good.
2,500. Dues and subscriptions, $800.
we have to keep,
Spent 510, 510, 500.
right now, that's different. Where's their,
What?
where's their office subscription?
Not there.
Okay.
I'd leave that go.
You good on recorder?
Oh, good catch.
And if we add that, that is how much?
$1,000,
$1,000.
$250 a year per person.
Good catch.
So you can add that line item, put that in there. Okay. We'll wait till Misty's done adding.
Yep.
Good. Auditor. Elected official, 3%, 55,840. Payroll administrator, 3%, 38,787. Financial administrative assistant, 38,787 is the 3%. Bonus $7,000 for the number of employees. Social Security Group Health Perf. Second deputy, 1, 2, 3 of those at 37,555 is the 3%. Second deputy, vacant new position. If we add that person, it's 37,555. Haven't added the previous request.
That's a tough one, because I've talked to Patty about the need for it in there, and there does appear to be a need, for it. The only way I could actually live with it is if we really reduce the extra clerical, because you'd be adding a person in there.
If that person is added,
Yeah, if it's out.
then the extra clerical go away?
I wouldn't know if it could all go away, but, because they still have to cover things in there, sick and maternity and things like that, I guess.
A little down for auditor or a lot later after a lawsuit.
What'd you say?
He said a little now, or
The one thing,
No.
that's gonna happen next year, Patty is term limited, so she will be leaving the office at the end of next year. We have tried in the past when we had that situation because obviously someone's gonna be coming in new to the office in some fashion. We have tried to allow them to try to bring that person in early for the start of, like, say, it would be 2023, to get them trained a little bit before we have that transition. I think Patty, I think in the past, hasn't extra clerical been the place where we've used money to try to bring someone in like that? Yeah. Because I know that is helpful when you can bring that new person in a little early and gain the experience of the person who's leaving office, however the transition works out, you know.
As I stated in the hearing, with the direction of commissioners and council both, we've been working with the part-time, the extra clerical for the last several years to try to stretch it out as long as we could. I understand the situation. As we always do in the auditor's office, we do what we have to do, and we're stretched pretty thin. Are we willing to, if we can have the person, are we willing to compromise some on the extra clerical? Obviously, yes, we can, some, but we do still need extra clerical. We're not really gaining, we're just trying to maintain.
So how much, as far as extra clerical, how much?
If we let that position in, the new
Yeah,
position?
Yeah, how much would you?
I mean, historically, she's used 56 and 40, or 45, 46 and 4,700.
We also use auditors and eligible fund that we supplement our extra clerical in the auditor's budget already. So we pay some of our part-time people out of a different fund.
Okay. Been pretty consistent on it.
One thing I brought up to Patty, that when you come from the business sector, there's cross-training where somebody go from here to there, to there, to there, especially when you're talking to, the treasurer's office in May and November. There's not much of any of that goes on here. I don't know if some of it can, but if it can, there's more that needs to happen in this building, because there's times, treasurer's office, there's times people need help, and there needs to be, I know I'm coming from the business sector, and that doesn't necessarily work here as well, but there needs to be cross-training where people can float when in dire need, but that's still neither here nor there on this position. Basically, that was a subliminal way of saying that it would be nice if we hire somebody that people can help in other areas if they're not busy on that particular time. I always think of the treasurer's office when they were busy on tax statements and everybody got COVID last year. It was a mess. But that's my business hat. That doesn't always work. Questions, comments? What do we want to do?
Is there, what specifically, Patty, has driven up, I mean, I'm sure it's a variety of things, but is there any primary thing that's driven the need for an additional person?
The additional, excuse me, the additional workload in the auditor's office comes from the state level, more requirements. It also comes, a lot of it comes locally. The auditor's office is the hub, so pretty much anything that the question in the county as far as financials, claims, comes in, it goes out of our office. Mike, one of the reasons that we did ask for this is, as Mike said, due to my term limits, and we're in a transition period, preparing for the next auditor to step in. So that person has got to have some training. Hopefully this next year will be a training period. Pretty much that way we have someone that has hands-on, that then when they step into the office, they're ready to go.
One thing we did, and it's, I don't know that it doesn't quite correlate, but it's got kind of a cousin relationship, when Carolyn Newton was going to hire an election administrator office, we authorized at Janice's request extra position in that office for a year, position that Lauren Milton filled for 1 year, so that Lauren could train alongside Carolyn, and then after that year, that position went away. She took Carolyn's job, hired. That would do a 1 year thing, sort of a precedent. And I don't think Patty's looking at just a 1 year situation. It would help out with that transition.
Had we done that route, we would have asked for 2 positions this year, but
I'm gonna go out on this branch, and you're gonna cut me off, but if and when we hire a new person in a department, can there be cross-training to additional department?
I'd say that would be dependent on the elected officials and some factors there. As far as the payroll aspect of it and the budget aspect,
Well,
yes.
to me, it's all, money's fungible. It's all county dollars. The fact that you're working in this department, it's getting billed here, and you're working over here, you're working over here, it's all taxpayer money. I don't care about that. I'm talking about efficiency. If we were to do something like this, can we have a person when, and I keep going back to the treasurer's office because of 2 weeks in May and 2 weeks in November, if they need help, could someone be cross-trained to help them where we can save part-time money there? as far as saying it's up to elected officials, it's really not up to elected officials.
Really is, it's their office and they run their office according
they're
to the
protecting
budget
their-
that they have budget dollars.
That-
The issue that I see, and to be perfectly honest, if you want a floater that can come in and, answer the phone and perhaps answer some basic questions, obviously, with some quick training, you can have a floater position come in and answer a phone or maybe wait on someone at the counter with some very basic information. For instance, this past year with COVID, there was a need in the health department, and there were several of us that went down and did a quick training session with them and helped alleviate some of their phone requirements, and we did some phone calls for them. There was 3 or 4 or 5 of us, I think. So in that regard, yes. And in emergencies, I think we're all willing to help one another out. But when you're talking about a truly cross-trained person to work just for the instance between the 4 main offices here in this building, that would be a large challenge for
But-
any one person to be trained.
Tony, I'm not trying. I know for my office, there might be a state probation, I would have to get it. I know for like government, they really like a very flow chart. This elected office holder, blur that line. Child support division, I've had the same question. You know, child support over in my, without having to report that. So I understand completely, like, in private sector business, you got your revenue coming out, but they really like everybody under this elected and their duty. Get into like this gray area where performing a duty that you are not specifically hired to. Gross employment potential. Adequate.
Another thing along that, what Dan's saying is the internal controls.
Yeah.
For instance, between the auditor's office and the treasurer's office, there has to be a large separation because that's the checks and balances within the whole system. So I do think State Board of Accounts might have something to say about that. Even within our office, we have to have those internal controls. The same person can't do multiple jobs because of potential for
Yeah,
fraud and.
Fraud, and the problem is, and you're proposing is perfectly reasonable. The problem is, for our northern county, they cross-train, go run my political campaign time and do all this other, nefarious stuff. So they really kind of crack down on, like I said, very clean audit trail. Whoever the elected official doesn't have to perform to your office. Try to blur that line.
Patty, if you'll recall, a few years ago, looking for a replacement, the commissioners actually were looking for a replacement for Tom Underwood across the street. I think we had an issue, had a little discussion about that, and I think that's the problem that I'm talking about.
I don't recall right off the top of my head. I don't remember I don't remember the base reasoning for that. I don't know if it was the internal controls or what the reasoning was on that, to be honest, Mike, but.
Yeah, we used Gail as a floater there after she retired, but that was different. For one thing, she was only drawing, $1 a year salary, and then she had extensive experience in these offices too. She knew the recorder's office, she knew the auditor's office. That was much different.
That was a
fully trained.
consultant role. Yeah, that circumstance was different, due to
Vince
the.
Gail to come back and be helpful. Don't think that's gonna happen.
Let's go, my suggestion would be, let's hold off on it right now. Let's see where we end up with the budget.
Total budget,
Yes,
and then
we can come back to it.
Okay,
I mean, if that's okay with the girls.
We can come back, because we're not gonna actually adopt anything today, so.
Yeah.
Come back to it in the morning.
okay.
I guess time to think about it.
You
Oh,
can't come
at-
back to it in the morning, you'll have to address it today due to the fact that we've got to do the calculations, so, we,
All right, we'll just come back to it later today then.
thank you.
We can do the rest of it though.
Registration fees, 5,000, we use 163.10, 1370.
2,500.
2,500 extra clerical, we've discussed, $12,000. 96.52 this year, 47.25, and 45.92 previous years.
Let's let that one go until we decide on the position.
Okay, longevity, 2,400, nothing we can do. Office supplies, 3,000. Went 12.33, 15.69, and 22.86.
It's in line.
That's okay.
Leave it.
Yep.
Wearing apparel went away previously. Postage, $4,000. We've used 204, 339, and 33.
Most of our postage just comes from HR perspective, the biggest part of it. I mean, we are gradually changing over to more, electronic funds and ACH and things like that. But the thing that we get hit a lot of times is noticing on BZA or things like that. We have to notice adjoining landowners. And the other big thing is FMLA paperwork, which has to be sent certified, which is costly. But other than that, that's where our postage mostly comes from.
Looks like,
Do you anticipate that being above like $500? We haven't spent that yet.
We can always come back and ask for more. I have no problem.
Okay, $500. Travel, mileage, and
I think
lodging.
I'd leave that one go.
It'll change because of COVID.
Okay,
Get back in.
printing 4,000, spent 11.96, 12.25, 24.28.
2,500.
2,500, rebinding and records, 500. We've spent 500, 500, and 0, so we'll leave that one. Repair and maintenance, $1,000. That's been the budget. Nothing has been spent.
500.
500. Dues and subs, $1,000. Spent 854, 855, 832.
Looks
Good.
Leave that alone. Office equipment, 1,500. Spent 0 this year, 1,024 the year before, and 35 the year before that.
This one I have a question on, because if you get a new employee, then you need office equipment, correct?
Well, and computers and, we need some upgrades. We're lagging behind a little bit, but
That was my question, because I mean, if we do go back, and I think we gotta decide that one when we decide the other one. That makes sense?
Yep.
'Cause it
Leave it.
might be higher depending on if you have a hire.
Then leave it for now. Furniture fixtures, 500. Spent 235, 180, and 0.
Good.
License renewals, 2250 stays.
You have to keep that, yeah.
Been at it 2 hours, 5-minute break, email break, restroom break.
Good.